I'm Franklin Taggart. This is the Virtual Coffee Break. Join me in the break room. Hello everybody, Franklin Taggart here. It is a virtual coffee break. It's been a while and I'm sorry for my absence. Actually, I'm not sorry at all. It's been one of those years. It has been a year of letting go and learning and seeing and going through just real, stark shifts in my awareness and in the way that I'm living and in the way that I'm doing things. It has been just a crazy, crazy year. So I've decided to give this coffee break session a title called The False Promise of a Better Me. And here in our house, it's holiday season, and we're about ready to decorate the Christmas tree, I'm sure. Although we've had a nasty flu going around our house. I hope that hasn't been going around your house, but it has really socked in my son and my wife now for several weeks, and so we're kind of slow starting. I don't think any of us can find any inkling of the holiday spirit right now, and that kind of reminds me. I think there's an apt metaphor in there for the false promise of a better me. We do a lot of decorating around this time of year. We do the tree and get all of the different things put on the tree to make it look beautiful and all that kind of stuff. And I think the Christmas tree might be a really good metaphor for what I'm talking about today. The false promise of a better me. The title came to me as I was starting to look at the collected results of all of the self-help, self-development, self-improvement things I have read, participated in, paid for over the course of my lifetime. And it occurred to me the other day that actually longer than the other day, it occurred to me probably late last summer. What if this self, quote unquote, that I'm trying to make better, what if that self doesn't even exist? And all of a sudden, again, it was a 2x4 in the head kind of a moment when all of the different ideas of who I am started to kind of unravel. And I don't know, for some folks, you may have experienced something along those lines, a little bit disconcerting. But it's kind of like a Christmas tree where you hang all of these ornaments and you put all the tinsel on and you make it look really, really, really beautiful. But underneath all of that decoration, there's really not a tree. And that's kind of how I have been feeling this year. It's like all of these things that I've done to so-called improve myself, really, the decorations are pretty much all that are there. And the self that would be decorated is a figment of my imagination. And all of those decorations are just decorations that are going onto a tree that doesn't really exist. And it kind of reminded me of a story that I heard Jamie Smart tell. I heard him on a podcast several years ago. I think it was the I Love Marketing podcast with Joe Polish and Dean Jackson. And they were interviewing Jamie Smart. And he said something that really registered with me then, and it kind of registers with me now. He said, I had achieved all my goals. I was at the point where I was, time-free and, obligation-free, and I had set it up so that everything was automated, and I didn't have to do any work or anything like that. And he said, I expected bright light to come out of all of my orifices. But he was disappointed that he was kind of nonplussed by the fact that his goals were written off And he didn't really feel any different or any better or any, more or less anything. He just was kind of like, oh, okay, now what? And that's kind of the same sense that I came up with as I was thinking through all of the different classes and courses and programs I've taken over the years. That by and large, that, person that I know to be myself, I turn to look at that person and there's only emptiness there. And it's an emptiness that I think that I was trying to avoid for a number of years. But that emptiness is also, I don't know how to describe it. It's really hard to find words to talk about that sense of emptiness. But when I turned to actually observe the self that I thought I was, there was really nothing there to find. There was not an entity. There was not an individual. There was not a person. There is a body and a mind here that are working all the time, it seems like. But when I really turned to look at this self that I was trying to improve, there was nothing to find. And in that, all of a sudden, over the next several weeks and months, what's happened is that my way of being in the world is completely different. And even terms like I and my, that old George Harrison song, I, me, mine, even those terms don't seem to fit right for some reason. And so one of the things that I also realized is that there's a part of myself that for as long as I can remember, there was a part of myself that was always striving for something. And I've in the last couple of months, I've started to call that my striving self, because that part of who I am, or that part of who I've known myself to be, came to a sudden stop this year. And I'm not real sure why. I don't understand what's going on. But that part of me that is the striver, the one who is trying to fill in the gap and to fill in the emptiness and to fill in the hole and to become something more or something better or something like that, that striver just stopped. And I don't know if it was in conjunction with seeing that the room was empty, or if that was just something that, was kind of a natural end of something. But the striver is not something that I can really identify with or attach to anymore. And one of the things that's happened as a result of that is this a real deep sense of, I hesitate to call it freedom or liberation, but that's probably what it feels most like. But it's like there isn't a separate individual entity here in the room, apart from all that is, apart from consciousness, apart from all being, apart from God, if you want to use that term. There isn't a separate being here to improve. And as a result of that, there are still things that happen. There's still things that go on. There are still things that are, happening. Like I'm speaking right now. That's happening. My body still feels things. My mind still thinks things. But this me that is at the center of all of that, I don't have a sense of that right now. I don't know if this is a permanent thing or if this is something that's going to come back or whatever. But it's been a real interesting observation to see that the striving was my way of trying to create or make the life that I wanted or that I thought I wanted. And yet the striving was actually really the source of as much suffering as I have ever felt. It was that, it was being driven by a sense of not being complete and lacking something, and, not feeling like I was, not only was I unworthy, but that I really wasn't anything. So the weird thing is, and it's very paradoxical as far as I'm concerned, all of this work that has been done to improve myself, I'm not going to say that it's been wasted time. It's certainly been a learning experience. But to come back to that and find that the self that I'm trying to improve actually is not even there was a real eye-opening experience. And so I don't even know what I'm really trying to communicate in this podcast, but it's kind of in part an explanation of where I've been this year. And one of the reasons that I haven't probably been podcasting as much or posting as much is that I've just been really rocked by this observation and this seeing. And at the same time, there's just a deep abiding sense that all is well, and that this isn't a problem, and that it's not a concern at all. So I can't give you a prescription here. This has just all been like kind of a chain of events, and I don't feel like that there has been any kind of intention or triggering from me at all, whatever that is. But I just feel like that that there's been a major shift in the way that the world is perceived, and all of these things that I've believed for so long have really been deconstructed, right? And so now all that's happening is just simple living. There's living happening here. There's still creativity happening here. There's still curiosity happening here. But the sense of purpose that I would ascribe to an individual, I don't feel that right now. And I don't miss it right now. So I don't know who this podcast is for. If it is something that has registered with you and is maybe it's something that you can resonate with, but other people look at you like you're crazy. Well, I don't think you're crazy at all. I think that you're going through something of a revelation that ready or not, here you are. And the best that I could offer is just someone who, I think understanding is the thing that connects us. And that's about it. So, kind of a weird coffee break today, but that's where I've been, folks. And I hope that all is well for you as we enter in this holiday season. It feels very quiet around here, and I'm just hoping that very soon that my family will be able to get through an entire night without a coughing fit. So I wish you all the best, and thank you, as always, for hanging in there with me on the coffee break, and I'll look forward to being with you again soon. So long. So I guess this means that the show is over. So we've reached the end of another virtual coffee break with Franklin Taggart. Thanks for listening. If you're feeling stuck in your business, your life, your marketing, whatever, schedule a Best Next Step call just to get moving again. Go to franklintaggart.com and look for the little picture that says Schedule Your Best Next Step Call here. I'll see you soon.